Hi friends, I'm Dani from Chakratopia, and this is your weekly vibe. I want to start this week with a question. What are you still carrying because at one time it helped you feel safe? Maybe it's a belief, maybe it's a habit. Maybe it's always being the strong one. Maybe it's staying quiet to avoid conflict, doing everything yourself, or keeping a wall around your heart because being vulnerable once hurt too much. And here's something I think is really important. Not everything we need to release began as something bad. Sometimes our old patterns protected us. They helped us get through something. But what protected us in one chapter of our lives can eventually become the very thing that limits us in the next chapter. And that brings me to this week's oracle card, Emotional Release. The message is, I allow my emotions to move through me with grace and compassion. And I love that word move, because the card isn't telling us to ignore our emotions. It isn't telling us to conquer them. And it definitely isn't telling us to just get over it or let it go. It's asking us to allow what we feel to move. And that is exactly what flow is about. There's a difference between feeling an emotion and deciding that we have to carry it forever. For example, we can feel sadness without believing we will always be sad. We can acknowledge disappointment without making it mean something about our worth. We can honor what happened and still decide that we're ready for something different. So if you notice an old emotion or pattern coming up this week or anytime, instead of criticizing yourself, try asking, what was this protecting me from? Really think about that. And then, do I still need that protection now? You don't have to force the answer. Just notice what comes up. And here's a very simple practice you can try. Take one slow breath in, hold it, exhale. Then name what you're feeling without becoming the feeling. Instead of saying, I am angry, try, I notice anger. Instead of, I am anxious, say, I notice anxiety. Then ask, am I ready to carry this differently? You don't have to make it disappear. You're simply creating a little space for movement. That is flow. And sometimes that awareness is enough. Journaling, walking, meditating, or simply noticing yourself respond differently can create meaningful change. The Flow Gateway is contained in my signature self-paced online course, The 5 Method, and it's linked below. There are so many resources in the 5 Method for you. It's a great place to start an amazing transformational journey. But if there's one specific issue or pattern that you understand intellectually, and yet it continues to feel energetically stuck, I can help you unstick it. I've also linked the one below. It's my focused remote energy healing session designed around one particular issue or intention. And I've linked the full weekly Vibe Flow teaching as well, including a longer emotional release practice you can try for yourself. So save it and keep it on hand. But for this week, I want to leave you with just one question. What have you been carrying, and what are you ready to carry differently? And remember, I allow my emotions to move through me with grace and compassion. You don't have to force release, just allow a little movement. I'll see you next week.